upset because I called Erika Kirk a fraud, a failed actress, and the happiest widow I've ever seen. I stand on that, and I'll keep saying it. First off, if that happened to my husband, I wouldn't even be able to get out of bed.
Erika, please stand.
Can anyone from TPUSA explain why Erika Kirk showed up 3 days after her husband's death with a fresh manicure and a new blowout, ready to play the grieving widow part? Because people online have refused to let this go for even one moment, and now they're reviewing old videos of Erika, trying to understand how someone who had supposedly just lost her husband could show up looking like she had just walked out of a salon. And it's not just how put together she looked that's causing all this chaos. It's also the fact that Erika has never for once appeared like someone who just experienced a great tragedy. Of course, this doesn't mean there's only one way to grieve, but let's face it, Erika seems to be having the time of her life. Going on tour, wearing a sparkly new suit every day, getting a full face beat every time she leaves the house, and doing everything but staying with the kids Charlie left behind. And at this point, we all have the same question. Is Erika just grieving in a very, very unique way? Or is her behavior a sign that she's hiding something?
Look at this face. As of the recording of this video, we're only 16 days out from a supposedly brutal, horrific assassination of the love of her life.
So we've been reviewing old footage from the days surrounding Charlie Kirk's death, and one detail keeps jumping out over and over again. No matter which video you watch, Erika Kirk somehow looks perfectly put together every single time. And we're not talking about someone who simply looked presentable, literally glammed up from head to toe, like someone about to go on a runway. The footage that really caught people's attention is this one from Charlie's memorial, where she's crying over his body. The camera pans towards Erika several times throughout the footage, and each time you get a clear look at her hands. You can clearly see that she has a fresh manicure. Her hair was also drawing attention because it appeared freshly blown out and professionally styled, despite everything that had supposedly been happening behind the scenes. But then you notice something else that's even more suspicious. Throughout the memorial footage, Erika appears to be sobbing heavily over Charlie's body while wearing a full face of makeup. Yet despite all the tears, you can't spot a single mascara streak. No eyeliner running down her face, no foundation transferring onto her hand when she rested her face against it, nothing. And this is how it is every time she supposedly cries in public. And so before long, the question took a dark turn. Does Erika simply wear incredibly good makeup every day, or were those tears never real to begin with? To be fair, it's not like there's anything inherently strange about Erika having her hair or nails done. Anyone who's followed her over the years knows looking polished has pretty much been part of her public image for as long as people can remember. But that's also exactly why her behavior feels so off. Because it was never really about a manicure or a blowout. In previous videos, we've talked about how some people are convinced Erika either never cared about Charlie nearly as much as she claimed, or in the worst case, she knows more about what happened to him than she's ever admitted publicly. And the fact that no one can point to a single moment after Charlie's death where Erika appeared genuinely disheveled is genuinely baffling. No red swollen eyes, no exhausted appearance, no footage where she looked like someone whose entire world had just collapsed. And because of that, people started digging through older photos and posts, looking for anything that could help establish a timeline. Now, remember this photo Erika showed of her children as her proof of where she had been in the days leading up to Charlie's death? You can see that she covered her kids' faces with her finger in the photo, and you get a clear view of what her nails look like when they're not freshly done, which is how you know she had to have had an appointment literally days or hours within hearing of her husband's passing. When people placed those photos side by side, the difference was clear, and then they started bringing other photos and videos into the mix, especially this backstage footage showing Erika supposedly applying what looks like fake tears solution to her eyes before going on stage. And again, people had one question. Why does none of Erika's behavior after her husband's death even remotely resemble that of a grieving widow? Now, don't get us wrong, everyone grieves differently, but you can't deny how interesting it is that Erika's brand of grieving involves pyrotechnics, sparkly suits, cameras, a grief tour, speeches and public appearances, exclusive White House dinners, and so on. And the thing is, you probably wouldn't clock how insane all this is until you compare Erika's behavior to other people who have also gone through highly publicized tragedies. If y'all recall, Erika was invited to Trump's State of the Union address U.S. back in February, and seated beside her that night was Anya Zarutska, a Ukrainian immigrant whose 23-year-old daughter, Irina Zarutska, was tragically killed after being stabbed on a light rail train in Charlotte the previous year. Think about the tragedy of it all: fleeing a war, arriving in a new country, trying to build a better life, and then losing a daughter in such a violent and senseless way. And while the circumstances were obviously different, it's not hard to understand that both women have experienced sudden and highly public losses that attracted national attention. So people naturally started comparing their reactions. Throughout the event, viewers noticed that Anya appeared visibly emotional whenever her daughter's story was mentioned. The grief seemed written all over her face.
She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders.
Meanwhile, Erika appeared composed, polished, and camera-ready throughout the evening. And when Charlie's name came up, she could barely even work up the kind of emotional reaction people expected to see.
So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erika, is with us tonight.
So sure, people do grieve differently, but the more Erika appears in public, the harder it becomes to reconcile the image she's presenting with the devastating tragedy she claims to be living through. And once that memorial footage started spreading across social media, people didn't waste any time sharing their opinions. Because while we can all agree that having a fresh manicure or styled hair doesn't prove anything by itself, it does add another layer to a situation y'all have been questioning for months. One comment that got a lot of attention summed up exactly how many of y'all feel. I always think back to this. This was the first sign, and really the only sign I needed. Anyone who lost someone, especially in a tragic way, would never do this. This set off every red flag possible for me. This is all theater. Another person concluded, Erika never loved Charlie Kirk. All she wanted was the title, fame, and millions of dollars that came with it. I believe she was groomed to be Charlie's wife, more or less his handler. Then once he began to unravel the lies and see the truth, they took him out. And the fact that so many people agreed with these comments just shows how much Erika's behavior has rubbed people the wrong way. And the questions only got louder as even more footage started resurfacing online. But the conversation took a darker turn when it shifted from Erika does not appear to be grieving to what did Erika really know about Charlie's death? That's when an old interview of Erika's close friend and spiritual advisor, Victor Marx, started making the rounds again. Now, we already talked about this interview in my previous videos, but for those who can't recall, here's what went down. In that interview, Victor revealed that the first thing he did when he learned of Charlie's death was to call Erika to assure her that nothing would happen to her and the kids because, quote, they only wanted Charlie. Listen to this.
And then I contacted Erika through a text and told her. I just told her that nobody's gonna kill you. You're safe, you and the kids. No one's coming after you. They just wanted Charlie. And I was just trying to reassure her.
And that's weird for so many reasons. Firstly, it didn't make sense that that was the first thing that occurred to him. Plus, how did he know for sure that Charlie was the only target? And he never actually clarified who the they he was referring to was. When you add all of it together, it made people wonder if that phone call was part of some insider information sharing. It would definitely explain why Erika seemed to already have an entire script for how her public grieving would go. And that's why it's been so hard to let this one go. It's almost a year now since Charlie died, and Erika still hasn't answered any of the questions people have. And it's not like any of this proves something shady went down, but the more people dig into it, the more unanswered questions pop up. So now the focus isn't on Erika's manicure, makeup, or memorial footage. It was on what really happened in the days surrounding Charlie's death, and whether there are details that still haven't been fully explained.